All right. Hello and welcome, Rachel. This is going to be exciting. I I'm Steph. This is Rachel. She is going to guide one or possibly more of our rising groups. And we have created this interview conversation so that you can get to know Rachel a little bit and see if she's the right fit for you to have lead your group. So we're just going to jump right in.
Perfect.
Okay. Um, can you share a little about who you are? Who is
Yeah,
Rachel?
I am Rachel. I am originally from Washington State. I now live in Arizona, a little bit southeast of the Phoenix area. And I've been here about 5 years, and I love the outdoors. I love camping. I love swimming. I love laying by the pool. Because I grew up in Washington, I love water skiing and snow skiing and just being outdoors. Here in Arizona, I've had to learn other ways of doing things like that. I go paddleboarding. I go on hikes and just enjoy being outside. Camping, I think I said that, but I really love camping. Um, and I love spending time with friends. And I'm pretty plugged into my church and in my church small group, and I that's important to me. My faith has always been really important to me. And I was previously married. I went through a divorce about 7 years ago, and then I also was previously engaged and broke off the engagement about 3 years ago. And so I'm not married, I'm single. Um, I have a daughter. She lives in Washington with my ex-husband. There's a lot to that story that I'm sure we'll get into if we end up in a group together. But yeah, so I'm a mom, and yeah, I love the outdoors.
Awesome. What a perfect place to live for loving the outdoors.
It
I'm
really is. Arizona, I now say I could probably never live in Spokane again just because of how long winter is. And people are like, what about how hot summer is? And I'm like, yeah, but it's a shorter window. The window of time of cold and dark in Spokane is so much longer than the window of time of heat here. And being able to be outside year round, except maybe a month or two, and it's yeah, the sunshine's been very good for me, for my mental health, for my just everything. It's been so good.
Yeah. I grew up in Portland, and after a year of living in Utah, I was like, was I seasonally depressed?
Totally, 100%. I say that all the time. I'm like, I had seasonal depression and I didn't even know it.
No idea. When you grow up with dark and gloomy, you don't understand how
Yep,
important sunshine is.
totally.
Um,
Yeah, my mom's always trying to get me to move back, and I'm like, I can't say I'll never move, but if I move, it will be to another sunshine area. She's like, okay, fine.
yeah. Awesome. Well, here's a question that you kind of started answering.
Yeah.
What brought you into this work?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I was engaged. I found out about a month before our wedding, or a month and a half before our wedding. My fiance sat me down to basically confess to a secret life, porn and sex addiction, and that he had been unfaithful to me for the entirety of our relationship. And I was completely destroyed. I knew that he had struggled with porn, but to me, that just meant like occasionally struggled with looking at it. And I didn't know, one, the severity, and two, I didn't really even know how bad porn was until I got into learning about betrayal trauma and sex addiction and all of that. So I basically was like so confused, completely in shock, so devastated and sad. The life that I thought we were going to have of getting married and being together was completely swept out from under me. And that's been one of the hardest things to grieve is the life that I thought we would have. You know, we didn't get married, and I wanted to marry him. And then the confusion of, do I stay in this relationship? He says he's willing to do work and change. And then going, well, what do I do? What do I need to get better? Because I felt crazy and I felt um so many feelings and emotions that I couldn't even put words to. Getting into a group brought me new knowledge that I had no idea of. A feelings wheel. I had no idea what a feelings wheel was. Now I know all the feelings and I can tell you all that I have going on. Um, it put words to everything for me and made me know that I wasn't crazy. I needed support. I've always been someone who needed community. I've always been involved in a church small group or a book club or different groups with friends. And I needed community that understood because I started telling some family and friends what was going on. And they had so many opinions and so many thoughts about what I should do and whether I should leave the relationship. And or if I should be forgiving or whatever, but none of them actually had been through what I went through. And I needed support that knew and understood and that I could lean on. And so I was floundering and I was grabbing for everything that I could get my hands on. I found some really great books. I found some not so great resources. I had a therapist who was in way over her head. And she said, I think you might need a betrayal trauma therapist. And I said, what's that? And she was like, let me tell you, thank God for her because she knew she was not qualified to help me. And she was like, here's where you need to go. And so at some point, somehow, I found Pam Blizzard's Facebook page and found Recovered Peace. And I kept seeing her post about her free boundaries webinar, and I would go to it because I couldn't afford to do more than that. And then after the second or third time doing her free boundaries webinar, I was like, I just need to bite the bullet and do her boundaries class and pay the money and just do it. And it was the best money I've ever spent because it helped me take everything that I was learning from books and podcasts and all of the information and actually put it into practice and actually learn what I needed to find peace and serenity and to get back in line with who I was as a person and to find my values again. And then having support from other women who understood, who also were safe, because I had also been in groups where people would just share and they would talk over each other and they would give opinions and advice. And it was like, this is not good. I don't like this. And then being in a group where it was very safe and where we would be stopped if we were oversharing and where we would be encouraged to get regulated if we were dysregulated was like a game changer for me. And so fast forward to a few years later, I was like, I want to help other women. I want other women to know of the resources that exist. And so I had been told from Steph and Pam about the A Door of Hope peer facilitator training, which is the trauma-informed peer facilitator training for betrayed women. They had told me about it, and I said, I need to do this. I want to be able to be properly trained so that I know how to help other women in healthy ways so that they're not getting unhealthy help. And that's kind of what led me to here.
Wow. I love that. Um, yeah, you answered a bunch of my questions. So I'm gonna ask a few of these because I think these might be good. But how did being in a group change your relationship with yourself?
Mm, I think it helped me to not be so critical of myself. I felt like everything I was doing was not enough, or that everything I was doing was wrong, and that the recovery I was doing was not helping me and was not getting anywhere. And being in a group with other women who, one, watched me grow and were able to speak back to me the growth that they were seeing, but two, were able to just hear me and not respond and not react. And it helped me learn that I had a voice and that my story mattered, and that just because I wasn't married didn't mean that my story wasn't valid and that I wasn't a betrayed partner. because I had felt like maybe I was unqualified to be in some of the groups or that I didn't fit. And it helped me learn that I did have a place. Um, and I remember sitting in one of my first few groups at a 12-step meeting, actually, that I went to, and seeing all these women who seemed like they had serenity and peace, and knowing I had none. I mean, none. I had no peace. And it was like, I want what they have. And so I would say that's the other thing that I have found through groups is serenity and peace. And, um, that's why I decided to name my group Rising in Serenity, because to me, that is that is something that is so pivotal. I wanted it and I wanted to know where I could get it. And I have found it. I mean, I never thought I'd be able to say like that I have joy again or that I have peace again. And I mean, I'm still in the in between in this relationship. I'm still kind of in a relationship with my ex-fiance, and it's been 3 years, and that should be so confusing and make me not have joy. I mean, people from the outside would probably be like, how do you have joy in the midst of that? And it's like, because it doesn't matter what he's doing, it matters what I've found and the person I've become through my healing journey. And yeah, that's a good feeling.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. What surprised you most about healing in community?
I would say probably the sisterhood that I have built. Like, I talk to several of the ladies from the groups that I'm in on an almost daily basis. And they're some of my closest friends. And they don't live here. They live in other places. And we meet on Zoom and we talk on Marco Polo and we text. And I never thought that I would have close sisters and friends who were betrayed women who, we want to get together. We've gotten together for a weekend away and we plan to do it again. And I mean, even though I'm a person who likes community, I thought I liked in-person community, but sometimes you can't find qualified help in person. And online we found it and I love it and I adore the women I've been in groups with. So that probably surprised me the most. But also just how comfortable and vulnerable I could be through a screen. Like some people might find a barrier with that, but for me, it was like, I don't care if there's a screen between us. I don't care if we're in the same living room together. These women get me, and I needed that desperately. So
Mm,
that's definitely something that's come with the community. And then just encouragement and ladies who I know me and I know are going to encourage me and challenge me. Um, that all has been such a blessing from having this community.
mm. I love that. I love that. I hated online groups. I did not want to join an online group. I didn't even know I wanted to be a coach when I first started, you know, going to
Mhm.
groups. But um, the way that we encourage you to participate in these groups is camera on, nodding, acknowledging that you're hearing, looking at the person that you're listening to, and it is life changing. I was in a training just a few weeks ago where there were 13 or 15 people in the training, and we each had a partner that we were working with in breakout rooms, and they had us like pin our partner. I don't know if you know how to do that on Zoom, but
Uh-uh.
it just makes their video pop up big and all the other ones are
Oh,
little at the
yes.
top.
Yes. So whoever is talking and is the host is the main. Yeah.
It can be that, or the talker and the host can be in the background and you can pin one random person that's not talking.
Oh, I
So
see.
we
Okay.
pinned our partners and just looked at each other.
Okay.
And some people were crying, some people were
Mm,
just like, I've like this. We didn't talk to each other. We were just looking at each other. And it was incredible to like feel how
mm,
connected I can feel to a person just by being present
yep.
in a Zoom
Oh,
experience.
I completely agree. I'll never forget one of the times where I was sharing and I was just completely overcome emotionally. And you had me take my arms and, kind of do this and tap my shoulders and give myself a hug. And I felt like you were hugging me. I felt, and I completely calmed down and got regulated and came back to the space. And yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm so glad. Those moments I really do want to hug you.
Yeah.
For real. Uh,
I'm an
so
intense crier, so I don't doubt that.
me too. I am too. My goodness. All right. So here's another question. What helped you feel like you wanted to stay in a group, and what made you feel like the group wasn't for you? Like,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
have those
So
experiences.
one of the groups that I was in actually in person, um, I decided not to stay in that group because it seemed like it didn't always feel safe. It felt like there was unsolicited advice and opinions that maybe weren't always trauma informed. And I just was like, this is not feeling right for me. And I was kind of a long drive to go there. And I was like, I don't know that this is worth my time to continue going. I'm not getting from it what I need to. It served its purpose at first, and I am grateful for that group because I had in-person hugs and real people and some ladies that prayed with me and some of that I really needed. But then I already had found some other groups online that were safe and trauma informed, and I didn't want to miss. Like I knew that it was the right fit for me when I like looked forward to going, and I didn't want to miss group. And when, oh, excuse me, and when I knew that even if I didn't want to be there because of not wanting to share something that was going on or whatever else, that I was going to get encouragement and I was going to get love and going to have the support that I needed. And it made me want to keep going. But also too, I think some of them had like structure, good structure with like homework or not necessarily homework, but specific things that we were working on. And I do well with like that kind of thing. I wanted to do the homework and then be able to share about what I had done or what I was learning or ask questions and have other feedback from other women and have the option of yes, I'd like encouragement or yes, I would like feedback after I share and having the option like for me, being asked if I wanted encouragement or feedback after I had shared something so vulnerable, some days couldn't handle it. Some days I could not handle feedback or opinions. So I would literally just say I could use some encouragement, and everybody honored that. So like that is huge. That for me was one of the safest things and kept me wanting to come back to the group. And yeah.
Mm, yeah, I love that. I love that. Asking women what they need is like my biggest thing when I'm leading a group because
Hmm.
we lose our
Choice.
we lose our trust. We lose the opportunity to say
Hmm.
what we need and make an educated decision because we were deceived. We were robbed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, my goodness. Okay. When you're leading a group, what is important to you? What is kind of your style? What do you want women in your group to experience?
Yeah. I would say one thing is I like when everyone is present and camera is on. And when we together come up with kind of group agreements for what that space will be like, like not having a lot of distraction, having everybody be really present and really making it a priority for themselves to come and be a part of. Obviously, understanding that sometimes there's things that come up or things that happen, and we don't want people to not join just because they, have to have their camera off briefly or whatever, but that, that would be the goal majority of the time. I also like everybody to be able to have a chance to share, not having one person monopolize the conversation too much, but everybody getting their turn and their chance. And then, like just like what I received, I like to be able to let women say if they want encouragement or feedback after they've had a chance to share, whether we're going over a specific question and you're answering that, or whether you're just sharing a check-in about how you're doing and how your week's been and what your greatest need is at that moment or whatever. But having a chance to share and then say if you want encouragement or feedback. Um, and then I would say I also think it's important to start either by just doing a quick grounding exercise or just doing maybe a brief quick check-in with like a one word that you're feeling and a quick 1 minute thing, and then getting into more conversation about a specific topic if we have a topic at hand, just so that everybody has a quick chance to check in. I was a part of a group that did a 1 minute check-in at the beginning of every time, and you knew you only had a minute. So it was like, what's the most important thing to share? And I really kind of liked it because then I wasn't going on and on about, a conversation I had with my partner and all these things. It was kind of just like, here's what I'm feeling, here's why I'm feeling it, and there we are, And so I kind of like that for some of the weeks, probably. Yeah, I
That's
think that
great.
answered all your questions.
Yeah, I love that idea. I love that idea. Sometimes more structure the better. There have been
Hmm.
meetings where I've even put a timer on Zoom where women can keep their own time kind of, but recognize that yeah, there are maybe 8, maybe 10 women in the group today,
Hmm.
and we need to honor everyone's time and make sure
Yep,
everyone gets a chance to be seen and heard because that's what this group is about.
absolutely. Yeah,
And
some people don't like timers, but
right.
I'm a fan of them. I really am. I think that a lot of the meeting groups that I'm in have timers because I do go to some other 12-step groups and they have to same thing, they have to limit the amount of time everybody gets to share. And there's always the option at the end to stay after and visit longer, and ask each other questions and things. But at least then that way everybody gets a chance to share. And sometimes it is nice to not, I don't always have timers, but I want to, I want to be able to use it sometimes so everybody gets a chance if it's needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that you can actually decide as a group, right? We all decide,
Absolutely.
actually, I prefer a timer.
Yeah,
So let's use one. Yeah. And
totally.
I
Yeah.
I did
I like that making the rules and decisions as a group of what feels safe and what feels comfortable. Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, you
And
did what?
I did want to mention that there is such a great need when we feel so marginalized and not heard to have that space to be heard, to have that space to say all the triggering things, all the swear words,
Yeah.
all the big, huge feelings that maybe don't all belong in a group setting. And
Hmm.
so as um a perk of joining one of our rising groups, most of our group guides or peer facilitators aren't life coach trained, but I am, and I offer like time, like 20 to 30-minute free sessions for the women in the rising groups.
Yeah.
And so that you can have that time where
Yeah.
someone can listen and validate and jump in there with you maybe and say
Definitely. Yeah, and I
yes.
agree. I think even though I'm not life coach trained, I would say just because of the conversations I've had with some of the ladies that I've in groups with, where we will hop on Marco Polo later or we'll hop on the phone. To me, that is a benefit, is to be able to say, hey, do you have time for a phone call? I
Yeah,
really need, and so I like the idea of the ladies in the group exchanging phone numbers and being able to reach out to each other and me being a part of that list. Just because I'm facilitating doesn't mean that I'm not available. I'm a peer facilitator because I am a betrayed partner and I'm walking through this too. And I'm happy to be that sounding board if someone's like, okay, I didn't want to share this in group because I didn't want to break our guidelines and overshare, but I need to get this off my chest. It's like, great, let's talk about it. I had
absolutely.
so many women available to me when I was spiraling out of control. And I always want to be able to be that kind of resource for women who need it now that I've gotten more grounded and more recovery time under my belt.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. That's one of my favorite things is when the group becomes connected outside of the hour and a half that we spend
Yep.
on Zoom every week. Yeah. Love
Yep.
that.
Me too.
Okay. Let's see. If someone is nervous about joining a group, what would you want her to know?
I would want her to know that it's okay to be nervous. I would want her to know that it's a safe space to be nervous. It's a safe space to come and just be present. And that if she's nervous about sharing or nervous about what to say, that, for one, we could hop on a quick phone call and talk a little bit, and she can hear a little of my story and I can hear a little of hers, to help ease some of that, ease some of those nerves before actually joining a group. But also knowing that I think everybody's a little bit nervous, even extroverts, I think can be a little bit nervous to join a space like this and not knowing what to expect. And everyone who I've talked to who's ever been a part of a group was so glad that they did. So if that eases a little bit of those nerves, I hope so. And
Mm,
that it's just a safe space. So I hope she'll join. I hope she'll dive in.
yeah. What I often tell women is you get to choose. We've been so disempowered, sometimes
Hmm.
for a very long time. So
Yeah.
you get to choose whether you try it or not, and I hope you try it.
Yep.
And you come 4 times and you go, this actually
Totally.
isn't for me,
Hmm.
and we cancel your subscription. No big
Totally.
deal.
Yep.
No big deal. I have gone back and forth with these rising groups trying to decide, do I make this a 6 month time commitment or something like that? But honestly, the women that it is helpful for and that they really enjoy being in here, they stay. And
Yep.
and the women that are like, this isn't the right time for me, or this isn't quite fitting with my needs, no matter what they are, they go. And it,
Yep. Yeah, and there's no pressure.
no,
It's not like you're not going to try to convince them not to or anything. It's like because again, we've been so empowered and it's like you get to choose whatever is best for you.
yeah, yeah. I think
Definitely.
that's what I want for you. That's what I want for every betrayed wife to
Hmm.
gain back that ability, or maybe the ability for the first time for some of us. I felt like that
Yeah,
was
totally.
my journey, not having a voice ever.
Yeah.
But that's what I want. And if joining a group and leaving a group is your first real choice, your first usage of that power inside you, then I will applaud you and say, I wish you well on your journey.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, is there anything, this is our last question, is there anything you wish you knew when you were considering joining a group?
Um,
Like if you could go back to Rachel when you first learned
yeah.
about betrayal trauma and tell her about groups and how it's going to change your life, what would you say?
I guess I would probably say don't wait. Don't wait. Do it now because it will change your life. But also, I think it's invaluable. The amount of growth, the amount of learning, the amount of support, it is literally invaluable. And so I think I would just say, yeah, jump right in. Don't wait. Um, you'll be so glad that you did. And I think
Mm.
for me, there's still uncertainty because I have my relationship, but I have confidence and certainty when I'm with the women that I'm in the groups with, and I want that for you too.
Love it. I love it so much. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
of
for
course.
talking with me today. I'm excited. Rachel's groups are on Sundays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time
Sunday evenings, yes, I
or,
believe so. Let me look.
or Central. I think it's 7 p.m. Central. There's all the time
Six,
zones, you guys.
yes, it's 6 p.m. Mountain Time.
Okay.
But yes, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. That way when time zone changes and things like that, it'll always be 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So that would be 7 p.m. Central Time, I believe.
Yep, always 7 p.m. Central.
Um, and yeah, I would love to see all you ladies out there.
Yeah. There is a limit to the group. We like to, you'll, I have other videos where you can find more out about what rising groups are. So you'll be able to go to my channel and find more of those videos that'll help you get a better idea of what you're looking at here with these groups that we've created.
Mhm.
So I just want you
Yeah,
to,
and maybe the only other thing, sorry, I didn't mean
yeah,
to interrupt you, but
go
probably
for
the
it.
only other thing I would add would just be, um, as I shared at the beginning, my story is a little unique because I was previously married and then I also was engaged. So I guess what I would say is my group really is for any woman. I think that whether you're married, whether you're dating and you've now been betrayed, engaged, any of that, I have been through the gamut. So I want to be able to support women at any stage of their journey or divorced. If you're divorced and it's afterwards, but you're still kind of just trying to figure things out or now trying to figure out the dating world through betrayal and past betrayal, and are you ready for it? I mean, seriously, I think my group could be for anyone. So I just would say all women, all betrayed women are welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of how we've crafted these rising groups so that every woman can feel welcome. And it's actually really beneficial to have women of all stages in the
Absolutely.
group. Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to quickly say if you've come this far and you're feeling curious, maybe a little nervous, that makes sense. Like we were saying earlier, no one really feels ready to jump into a group and be vulnerable and um work through some really painful stuff and ask for help and all of that stuff. But I do want to say choosing support is one of the most powerful and courageous thing that you can do for yourself. And
Absolutely.
maybe you've tried other groups. Maybe you've tried 12 step. Maybe you've tried some free stuff or some paid stuff. I just want to kind of toot my own horn a little and say this is different than anything I've seen. And we um we're just really excited to share what we've learned and what's helped us and say, you know, come join us and be a support to other women and find the support that you need. And you, I hope, will not be disappointed. I think whoever joins with the intention of being authentic and showing up and accepting the support and offering others the support, it's just a beautiful, life-changing experience. And we are so sorry you need a
Mm.
group like this.
Yeah.
It is the worst club to be a part of, but we love you and we are here for you. And let us know what
Definitely.
you need. Yep. There's
Absolutely.
information in the description of this video and on my website, risingbeyondbetrayal.com. You can set up a Zoom call with me, either a quick one or a little bit longer one, and we can discuss what you need and what you want to do next. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Rachel. It's
Thank
so
you
good to
so
see
much. Thanks,
you.
Steph.
Yep.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.